Next on Worcester News Tonight, the federal government is still shut down. We hear from a central Massachusetts prison who's affected. Plus, Charlie Baker signs a new law. It will change how short-term rentals are taxed and regulated. We have the details. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. The shutdown of the federal government is in day number 12. Here in central Massachusetts, there are no national parks or museums, but the Federal Medical Center at Devens is feeling the impact. Tonight, some at the prison say they're risking their lives every day without getting paid. Our Cam Jandro joins us now live with more. Cam?
Yeah, Anna, members of Local 222 say the prison continues to get the essentials they need in order to operate, but things like vehicle maintenance have taken a back seat during this shutdown, and nearly 2 weeks into this shutdown, they say they haven't even seen a paycheck. While the government remains shut down, federal prison FMC Devens is still operating as normal.
The risk to us while we work inside prisons hasn't changed at all, but however, for the moment, we're not getting paid.
Michael Guerrero and David Martinez are members of the American Federation of Government Employees, Local 222. They say working in a federal prison is difficult as it is. They and their members have worked the last 2 weeks without the promise of pay, and it's frustrating.
If I don't do my job, I can get in trouble, I'll get suspended. But here we are in reality where the president and the Congress and the Senate have not done their job by passing a budget, and nothing happens to them. They continue getting paid.
Guerrero says FMC Devens has seen a decrease in staff in the last year, which has resulted in correctional officers working double shifts in the prison.
The fact that that happens when we don't get paid is what has upset most of it. All right, so I'm not getting paid, but you're not letting me leave either. That's even more of a morale crusher.
Congressman Jim McGovern says he and fellow Democrats plan to craft a bill to end the shutdown when they take control of the House Thursday.
They're all bipartisan bills, so we ought to vote on them and then reopen the government, and we can fight about the other stuff later. But you shouldn't be punishing 800,000 federal workers.
Federal workers like Guerrero and Martinez, who say it's getting harder to go to work each day.
It affects the morale to know that you could be forced to work, forced to take the risks.
This is a terrible time right now, but you still have to come to work and get the job done, because if we don't do it, who's going to do it? So, and they're not just going to let anybody out of the place, I can tell you that.
Now, when the Democrats take over the House Thursday, Congressman Jim McGovern will assume the role as chair of the House Rules Committee, making him one of the most powerful lawmakers in all of Washington. And he says one of his main priorities right now is ending this government shutdown. We're live in Worcester tonight. I'm Cam Jandro, Worcester News Tonight.
The American Red Cross is working to help 42 families displaced after home fires across Massachusetts. According to the Red Cross, since Monday night, volunteers have responded to 4 structure fires across the region, displacing more than 100 people. This is one of the fires, which broke out at a home in North Brookfield. The Red Cross asks everyone to check their smoke alarms and practice fire drills at home. To help people affected, you can make a donation of $10 by texting Red Cross to 90999. Governor Charlie Baker has signed a new bill aimed at regulating short-term rentals such as AirBNB. The new law will apply the 5.7% hotel room tax to short-term rentals, with an exception for those who rent out their rooms for 14 days or less. Rob Stevens is the general manager of Avalara MyLodge Tax, the tax collection and payment software used by major regional and national rental platforms like Airbnb. He says from a traveler's perspective, it's going to make coming to Massachusetts a little more expensive. He says it will also be more work for the hosts.
From the host side, now the host is going to be required to, register with Massachusetts, be on this registry, collect the tax from the guest, and then remit it, typically each month to Massachusetts. So it's going to be a little bit more work.
Stephen says even with the added tax, he doesn't think it will keep people from using short-term rental services. He says travelers are used to paying these kind of taxes.
Massachusetts is really one of the few remaining states that treated Airbnbs and vacation rentals differently than hotels. So I think, really in other states, paying the hotel occupancy tax, room occupancy tax is just part of staying in these types of properties, even if they're private homes.
Stevens says having a registry and paying a tax adds some more viability and transparency to the industry, which he says isn't necessarily a bad thing. One of the big laws which takes effect this new year, a change to the legal age to buy tobacco products. Several communities like Worcester have already raised it to from 18 to 21. Now store owners across central Massachusetts are making the adjustment. Our Chandler Walsh has the details.
A new state law raises the minimum age to buy tobacco products from 18 to 21 in the new year. Several communities in Worcester County already adopted the policy, but for towns like Webster, it means change for retailers.
Some of the retailers are saying, no, if you do it just here, they'll just go across the line and buy it somewhere else. So that kind of avoids that situation. So we're glad that the state stepped up and took responsibility.
Rachel Nafay works at Jimmy's Convenience in town and says no one who is impacted by the change has come in yet, but she expects they will. She says the shop is checking IDs with the new law in mind.
They ask for cigarette or any kind of tobacco items. We ask for ID. We check their ID, what's their age, and if it's 21 and older, we sell. If it's not, we don't sell.
Jimmy's is hopeful the age change won't impact sales. The law applies to all tobacco products, including e-cigarettes. But in some towns like Webster, who didn't already raise the legal smoking age, it allows anyone who turned 18 before December 31st to still make purchases.
Let's see how it would go. We just started yesterday, so we'll see.
Sean Duffasey thinks raising the age means less people will pick up the habit and addiction.
I think it should be 21. I think actually, and I smoke cigarettes.
The town of Webster tried to make the change locally before the governor signed the bill months ago, but didn't because of pushback from retailers. Town Administrator Doug Willardson says it's a great way to protect their youth.
The longer that you're not using tobacco products, the less likely you are to become addicted when you do use them. So I think it's a good win-win for the community.
Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
Worcester welcomed many new opportunities in 2018, and the list continues to grow in 2019. New restaurants were opened in the city over the past year, and more than a dozen new restaurants are planned to come to Worcester this year. A few of these new locations include Protein House, located in the 145 Front Street building downtown, and Fuel America, located at the corner of Front and Mercantile Streets. With so many restaurants to choose from in the city, City Manager Edward Augustus says the competition is good.
Healthy, vibrant cities have lots of different options. And, you know, some restaurants will compete and survive. Some restaurants will not survive. And so there's a natural sorting out that happens when you have strong competition. And people can expect better options.
Augustus says the increase of restaurants is also providing more jobs. He says many of the restaurants are also supporting other local businesses by buying locally sourced products. Well, switching gears now, a 23-year-old Connecticut man is charged with stabbing his girlfriend and kidnapping her 6-year-old son. The young boy was found on Providence Street in Worcester early Tuesday morning. Hartford police say Edgar Maladano was arrested in Manhattan around 5:30 this morning. Police say Maladano is accused of stabbing his girlfriend at least 30 times in a car early New Year's Eve. The 6-year-old boy was in the car during the assault. The boy was reported missing and found hours later wandering Providence Street. He's now in custody of the Massachusetts Department of Children and Families. Charlton residents are asking questions tonight about a proposed marijuana facility for their town. The planning board was set to vote on the proposal at its scheduled meeting tonight. Valley Green Grow is looking for approval to build a 1 million square foot medical and recreational marijuana cultivation operation. The $100 million project would be the biggest cannabis cultivation and processing plant in the country. Its proposed location in Charlton Orchard's land. Some people who live close by say it would decrease property value.
Our contention all along has been it's too big. You know, 1 million square feet is like 17 football fields. And it's in the wrong location. It's too close to the neighborhood.
At last check, no vote had been taken. The board has been hearing from residents for more than 2 hours. 2018 brought big accomplishments to the city of Worcester. Mayor Joseph Petty says the momentum will continue in 2019. Our Brittany Schaefer has more.
People are more optimistic than ever.
Mayor Joseph Petty says 2018 was Worcester's best year yet, and the new year looks promising.
It's been a wonderful year. We expect 2019 to hopefully just to be as good. Maybe have some more good announcements in the city.
I'm a lifelong resident of Worcester. I think it was the most important positive year I can recall.
Petty highlights the announcement of the Pawtucket Red Sox move and economic development as two major successes. The remodel of the Canal District will begin this year.
It is official that they're coming and working out the details as we speak. It's start constructions of the stadium sometime in July and Kelly Square sometime in the same time frame.
City Councilor Mo Bergman says 2018 was huge for the city. He says Worcester is an exciting area with hundreds of places to see.
I think there's that type of confidence and enthusiasm for Worcester now, where people are proud to say they're from Worcester. For the first time in my life, friends that live outside of Worcester, maybe in the Metro West area, are coming to Worcester to meet us for dinner.
And while 2018 was a big year, Petty says Worcester's momentum is building into 2019.
We're building two new high schools. We got Delta going to fly out this year, later on, and American Airlines started in October. And we're going to do the library over, the front of the library. We're going to do a children's room. We do and make sure we get into all the business districts, the neighborhoods, and see what we can do to make it better here in the city.
Petty says a big focus for 2019 will be improving the city's trash system, while Bergman says he hopes to see an update to the WRTA to get more people riding city buses. Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
City Councilor Kathleen Toomey also weighing in on her goals for 2019 and beyond. She says she'd like to see an international marketplace in the city, as well as the city becoming a more pedestrian-friendly city.
To see downtown become pedestrian only during certain hours and certain times to encourage people to walk to other places. And I think when you look at communities that are great destinations throughout the world, they do have those big areas that people just walk.
Toomey says she doesn't know what is exactly on everyone else's agenda, but some of the things the council will work on as a whole in the new year is keeping the city clean and making sure they continue to support street and sidewalk improvements as well as infrastructure improvements.